Am I the asshole for refusing to keep my phone on sound or vibrate at all times? I prefer to keep my phone on silent. It's on Do Not Disturb, mostly, and does not vibrate. I still check it regularly and I'm reachable, just not instantly. I work online and check my phone way too much already. Today, my wife was shopping for her business. She hurried out and forgot her personal phone. She called me. I missed the call and called back about 10 minutes later. This situation came up years ago with my older brother, who felt it was disrespectful and irresponsible. We disagreed and moved on. But I was also bad at answering texts back then. That has changed. They mostly just wanted an answer in an acceptable time frame. Now it's come up again with my wife. She wants my phone on sound or vibrate in case of emergencies, and says it's stressful for her knowing she might not reach me immediately. From my perspective, being constantly interruptible makes me anxious and distracted, and I don't think being instantly reachable at all times is a reasonable expectation. I told my brother and wife that I don't feel like I should be on call 24/7 because of modern technology. It's my choice to be more at peace, not anxious about the phone. But now, it turns into a situation where I get anxious when my wife leaves the house. What if she calls? What if I miss it? It's an unhealthy situation, and I wonder if I'm being too stubborn. If there was a medical emergency, you shouldn't call me, but you should call an ambulance. Right? She feels I'm being stubborn and dismissive. I feel like I'm setting a reasonable boundary. Am I the asshole? Am I missing something obvious here?
Am I the asshole? My boyfriend kicked me out of the shower to poop. Got home from work today and told my boyfriend I was gonna take a quick shower. As soon as I put shampoo in my hair, he comes in and is like, "I'm so sorry, but you have to leave right now. I gotta go." I respond, "Dude, no. I'll just close the shower curtain and you can go." To which he responds, "Are you serious? You gotta get out." To which I'm like, "Dude, are you seriously asking me to get out of the shower right now?" Background. We've lived together for 2+ years, are pretty confirmed with each other, but definitely not to the point of pooping in front of each other. He has IBS, so when he's gotta go, he's gotta go. We also live in a cold-ass place that is heated with a wood stove, and I hadn't gotten the fire going yet, so was just standing, freezing and dripping and shampoo-haired outside the bathroom, waiting for him to shit. This is obviously not that big of a deal, but like, am I crazy thinking that it's a wild ask to make your partner leave mid-shower so you can take a dump?
Am I the asshole for saying I don't like my son's attitude considering social studies/history as being useless and putting in no effort? I have a son, 8th grader, 13, who's very smart. He wants to either become an oncologist, a pharmaceutical researcher, a medical toxicologist. He's always had a deep passion for science. He's always reading and learning ahead. He's been studying for the MCAT and has mastered all of organic chemistry/anatomy and physiology/genetics, and has been working on independent research projects regarding AI and ChatGPT with the help of a nearby hospital that he reached out to. But the one thing that pisses me off is his complete disregard for social studies. In 5th grade, he tested for all 4 GT classes, gifted and talented, but forced me to email the school to override him into on-grade social studies. He says he loves math, science, and English, and that all of them are important and have useful applications, but sees zero usefulness in taking an advanced social studies class, and he says on-grade classes literally teach you anyways, so he's going to learn basic foundational knowledge, and that's what matters. He says he plans on doing sports teams, hospital volunteering/shadowing and research projects, lots of extracurriculars, and he wants time to have fun, so doing the easy class for an unimportant subject gives him more time. In 8th grade, he has consistent A's in all his math, science, and English advanced classes, but has a C in regular U.S. history because he never tells us about exams, says he doesn't study for them at all, and says he just wants to pass and a D will do. He said in high school, he'll make sure to put in minimal studying to get an A where he also plans to do on grade level. It's worse because in high school, there are 3 levels, GT, honors, and regular, and he plans to do the bottom. Look, I hate this attitude of his. I don't like how he completely disregards one subject because it's useless and puts in absolutely zero effort/interest. I told him I'm going to make him do GT because I know he's smart, and now he's complaining saying he won't and I can't make him. I'm worried about grounding him or getting him in trouble because I know it will just escalate him. But I've never seen such a horrible attitude. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for using shampoo? So I, 15 male, have a pretty dandruff issue. To fix this, I asked my grandma to get me some dandruff shampoo, to which she told me to just use the one in the shower already, belonging to my 12 female sister. She was always the favourite or whatever, but they've gotten better. I've been using it for months now and never had an issue. Then, one fateful day, I came back from the gym after I had worked out and showered there, and the shampoo bottle was laying on the floor in my room. She walked in and looked at it, then asked me why it was there. I laugh a lot because I'm a class clown or whatever they call me at school, and told her that's what I use. She then looked at me horrified for some unknown reason, exclaimed, "What?" and proceeded to leave my room. A couple weeks later, today, after her shower, she came into my room and asked me to stop using it, as she felt uncomfortable sharing with me. I said it was the only dandruff shampoo in the house and that I couldn't get another one. She then proceeded to ignore that and said she felt uncomfortable. I asked why, and she said she just did. Now I have a lot of female friends, and I almost always make sure to respect boundaries, but I just can't see a reason to be uncomfortable sharing shampoo. If I'm the problem here, just tell me, but I was only doing what my grandma told me to.
Am I the arsehole for helping my sister run away from home after my mom called me fat, a 19 female? Have a sister, 18 female. We've never had an amazing relationship, but I've always figured it'll get better as we grow older. Our mom has always been controlling and strict, but never too bad. I've always figured she just loves us very much and doesn't want anything bad to happen to us since our dad passed away when we were toddlers. Recently, my sister got a boyfriend, 19 male, whom my mum doesn't approve of for whatever reason. I don't have anything against him. He seems like a cool dude, and I'm happy for my sister. However, my mum told my sister that she has to either cut ties with him or she'll stop paying for her tuition. What she doesn't know is that the guy is loaded and offered to pay for it himself. He loves my sister that much. My sister came to me a few weeks ago with a plan to run away, move in with her boyfriend, and have him keep paying for her tuition. She wanted to leave when our mom is away for the weekend and asked me to help her with everything and drive her 2 hours to another city, since she doesn't have a car or a license. I told her no, it's evil. Our mom loves us, and if she wants to move, she should talk to my mom about it. She scoffed and said she'll just find another way. A week ago, I was in the kitchen with my mom when my sister stormed in and ignored both of us. My mom yelled for her to come back and tell her where she's been all day since she was supposed to be home hours ago. From her room, she yelled, "With the only person who loves me and cares about me in this world," and shut the door with a bang. My mum sighed and said, "Thank God I have one normal child." I laughed and joked, "You'll never know. Maybe I'll be like that too once I get a boyfriend." My mum laughed and said, "Oh, honey, we don't need to worry about that before you start hitting the gym and drop some weight. For context, I am a bit chubby, but I'm healthy and strong. And before her comment, I've never felt the need to lose weight. I looked at her in disbelief and stormed straight to my sister's room. Her eyes lit up when I offered to help her. The next day, when my mum was God knows where, we packed as much of my sister's stuff into my car as we could and left, leaving her room empty except for her bed, desk, and bookshelf. I dropped her off at her boyfriend's house, helped her unload, and drove back. When I stepped inside, my mum was waiting for me at the door. "Where the hell have you been?" she screamed. I smiled and spun the car keys on my fingers. "Dropping sister off." She turned red and ran to my sister's room, only to find it empty. She yelled at me, called me names, and told me to get out of her house. I packed a bag and drove to my grandma's. It's been a week now and I'm still here. My mum has yet to contact me. My grandma, Dad's side, loves my mum and said it wasn't wrong of me to help my sister, but I should talk to my mum. I don't want to apologise before she does, but I miss my mum and sister. I wish I hadn't interfered with their beef, but I feel like if I hadn't, my sister would have just found another way to get there. She's a grown woman after all. So am I the arsehole?
Am I the asshole for telling my family they need to get over my father walking me down on my wedding day and I am not uninviting him? My father was absent for most of my childhood. I am the second oldest, and he split when I was around 7 years old. I have 3 other siblings, my older brother, my younger brother, and my youngest sister. Growing up, everyone in the family hated him. That includes me, especially my mother and youngest sister. My mother was not the best parent. She would be very verbally cruel. My trust in her is also gone due to her lying habit. My father reached out to me when I turned 18 to get coffee. He apologized to me and wanted to fresh start. I was hesitant at the beginning but decided to forgive and move on. He reached out to the other kids when they turned 18 and they wanted nothing to do with him. That's their choice and right. He did explain why he left my mother and I confirmed it with her. I am now 28 and I don't regret it at all. He has been a huge help and support to me over the years. My relationship with my mother has been getting worse over the years, especially since she hates my husband to be. She is very religious and he is not. This is my problem. I invited my dad to walk me down my wedding. I want him at my wedding and to be a part of it. My siblings and my mom are pissed. They told me that if I do this, they will not come to my wedding. They want him uninvited from the wedding and that my mom should walk me down. I told them no. It resulted in an argument. I told them they need to get over it and I am not inviting him. They said they will not come, and I told them that was fine.
Am I the arsehole for telling my house guest about my son? I, 38 male, live with my son, 20 male. His mum is not in the picture and I have no other children. Last year my son came out as gay. While it was not something I'm familiar with, I of course accepted him because he's my son and I love him. It was surprising because my son typically presents as very masculine and was very athletic and into sports growing up and still is. I apologise if that's not PC to say I'm still learning, but it is important to this story. When my son came out to me, I asked how open he wanted to be with it, and he said it's not a secret and anyone can know. I've casually mentioned to other people that my son is gay and he's never had an issue with it. About a month ago, my friend, 40 male, asked me if his son, 22 male, could live with us for a while. He started grad school and my house is close to the school. I'm very close to my friend and his son is like a nephew to me, but our sons have only met a few times. My friend moved to the other side of the country when his son was 5. I was worried it would be weird for my friend's son, but he got very comfortable right away, almost too comfortable. I found that he was very comfortable being at home wearing nothing but skivvies, which I would never do in someone else's house. But maybe this generation is different. I've always been on sports teams and in this kind of culture, so it didn't bother me. But it occurred to me that he might not know my son is gay, and might not be doing this if he did know. I tried to bring it up in a way that I thought was subtle. I mentioned a date my son went on and kept saying he to my friend's son, and I guess he got the hint. He started being dressed more, especially when my son's home. One day he mentioned my son being gay, and my son asked him how he knew. He said I told him. My son privately came to him and asked if I told our house guest about him being gay, so he's wear clothes. I said he deserved to know so he could decide if he felt comfortable doing that, and it seems like he isn't. My son got mad and said we were being homophobic. I asked if anything else had changed between them, besides him wearing more than underwear. My son and him have been bonding, and my son admitted no. I told him that if he is this upset about our house guest wearing clothes, I clearly did the right thing by telling him. My son is calling me the arsehole, but I don't think I did anything wrong.
Am I the asshole for filing a complaint against my son's teacher? I, 34 female, have one son, 10. He is enrolled in per local public school. My husband, 35 male, got a new job a year ago and we had to move from our city to a much smaller area. Since we moved, we've had several problems with our son's teacher. I was very excited at first because she seemed young and I thought she'd have and give our son a modern education. I was quickly proven wrong. His teacher refuses to allow the students to use the school-provided Chromebooks in her classroom. She makes the kids write their assignments on paper and worksheets, which is really inconvenient to make up absent work. Next, at the end of the day, she has the class do a 10-minute cleanup, which I understand, but it seems like she unfairly favors the girls in the class. The boys have to push in all the chairs at the end of the day, and then the boys line up at the end of the line for dismissal because ladies first. She seems to have archaic ideas about gender norms that I don't agree with. I don't want my son to feel like he is less than a girl because he never gets to be first in line. There was also an incident where my son and another boy were talking during the lesson. I understand that this is not okay, but when he was pulled aside and talked to about this, she forced him to say yes, ma'am, instead of just okay. I took all of these complaints to the principal who said he would look into it. My husband and some of my friends think I'm overreacting because she's teaching them manners. Am I the asshole for taking my complaints to the principal?
Am I the arsehole for telling my fat friend to eat a salad? So I, female 22, 90 pounds, DD breasts, invited a group of my friends to the city for my birthday. In total, there was 5 of us, including my best friend, female 23, 180 pounds, flat-chested. We spent the day exploring the city, and none of us had an issue with it other than my fat friend. We started the day at a museum, and then I wanted to go to a cafe I saw on TikTok that was only 3 miles away. My friend suggested we take an Uber, but the rest of my friends agreed 3 miles isn't that far, so we walked. Anyways, when we got to the cafe, a club promoter walked up to me and invited me and his friends to his club. He said we'd have a section and free drinks, and we'd just have to sit there and look pretty. Of course I accepted, and we exchanged Instagram. I told my friends about it, and my fat friend seemed excited for it. Well, when we got back to the hotel, the club promoter had DM'd me. Everyone's invited, but leave the whale. Obviously, he was talking about my fat friend, but I didn't want to bring down the vibes, so I said nothing. While we were getting ready for dinner/the club, I pulled my fat friend to the side and calmly explained to her that she wasn't invited to the club. My fat friend lost it and started sobbing hysterically for whatever reason. I couldn't understand why, since she was invited to dinner, and I offered to pay for her Uber back to the hotel after we ate. After 5 minutes of calmly trying to reason with her, I finally snapped and said, Well, if you ate a salad, you'd be hot enough to party with us. My fat friend then locked herself in the bathroom and refused to come out, despite my makeup being in there. We all went out to dinner and the club, and I assume my fat friend gorged herself on ice cream and pizza. When we came back from the club, I found a ransom note that said my fat friend had been kidnapped and they wanted $20,000, otherwise they'd kill her. I figured my fat friend was as being dramatic, so I ignored it, and me and the rest of my friends went home the next day. Now, my fat friend's fat family has been blowing up my phone since she went missing last week, and my family's pissed at me for not reporting the note to the police. But all my friends on the trip don't think I did anything wrong. Yet I can't help but wonder if I was too harsh on my fat friend. So am I the arsehole for telling my fat friend to eat a salad?
Am I the asshole for stating that I was next in line? This morning, I ordered 2 eggs at the breakfast grill line. Immediately after me, a dude asked for the same thing. The cook put 4 eggs to fry, and so I went to get a plate and some sides. I get back to the line just as the dude is collecting his eggs. But to my consternation, the cook then proceeds to give my eggs to a woman. The cook explains that she had forgotten the lady's order, and the lady turns to me and says I was first. I turned around and told her that I was before the guy who just got his eggs. She gave me a withering, "What an asshole" look, and offered me her plate with the eggs. I declined and waited for the cook to cook 2 more eggs. So is the lady right? Am I the asshole for pointing out that I should have gotten those eggs? Should I have kept quiet and just accepted getting the raw end of the stick of the cook's forgetfulness? Edit. After Dude and I ordered and we both went for plates, there was no one standing in line. Lady had left the line after ordering way before we ordered, at least 3 to 5 minutes. Edit 2. Most commenters are missing the point. The question asked is whether I should have said anything, and if not, whether that makes me the asshole or not. I am not complaining or mad or asking who was right to take the eggs.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister that our bio dad isn't my dad, and if she can't accept that maybe she isn't my sister either? My bio dad has been dead since I was a baby. I have 0 memories of him, and for a good amount of my childhood, I had no father figure. Sure, my mum and my siblings told me stories about him, but that isn't the same as actually knowing someone. When I was 11, my mum married Jim, fake name. He became my father figure, while my sister only tolerates him. This is when my relationship with my sister and I started to fall apart. She has always been mad about me replacing Dad. She would make me feel bad about thinking as him as my father figure, and that I was betraying bio Dad. Our relationship got better after she went to college. The issue is, I was looking through old photos with my mum, and we saw a few of my bio dad at a themed park with my siblings. Apparently, before he died, he would do little theme park trip with the kids. I asked Jim if we could go to a theme park and have some pictures. He agreed, and we went this weekend. I had a great time and posted some pictures on Instagram. My sister don't take it well. We got into an argument. She claims I have been betraying bio dad, and basically how dare I do something that bio dad did with them, but with Jim. I pointed out that I see Jim as my dad, that I literally call him dad. It went on for a while, and she told me I was being a bad daughter for replacing him. I had enough and told her that our bio dad ain't my dad, that my dad is Jim, and if she can't accept that, then maybe she ain't my sister either. She went to my other sibling, and I am basically being told to apologize. I don't want to. I am sick of her making me feel bad that I think of Jim as my dad, and I don't even remember Bio Dad at all. It wasn't even the same theme park. The one we went to opened last year. Update. I talked to my grandma and she helped me come up with a list about all the times my sister made me feel bad for having a relationship with Jim. It was pretty long, and I have decided to take a step back from that relationship. I am tired of feeling bad for having a father figure. I should not have to hide that I like my dad or be screamed at because I made him a Father's Day card. Happened multiple times, and she even ripped one of them up. I hope my sister gets the help she needs, but I am done. She is 22 and should not be screaming at me over this. My relationship with him doesn't affect her at all. For everyone thinking this was spite, it really wasn't. It was me living my life, and I don't wish to walk on glass around her anymore. I should be able to go on a dad-daughter day and post about it without being screamed at.
Am I the asshole for calling the cops on my sister after she listed my house for sale without my permission, forged my signature for power of attorney, and is now suing me for $62,000 in lost commission? My sister called me screaming that I owe her $47,000 because I sabotaged her sale of my house that she listed without my permission while I was getting married in Greece. I got back from my honeymoon yesterday, and there were lockbox codes texted to my phone from 3 different real estate apps I never signed up for. My husband saw them first and asked if I was selling the house. I said no, obviously. Why would I sell right after we got married and combined households? He showed me the texts with access codes and photographer appointment confirmations. I logged into one of the apps and found my house. My actual house. Listed for $685,000 with photos of every room, including my bedroom and my office. The listing said, motivated seller, quick close preferred, owner relocating for work. I don't have work. I'm a freelance graphic designer and I work from home. The description mentioned power of attorney handling all negotiations and gave my sister's personal cell phone as the contact. I called her immediately. She answered with, "Oh good, you're back. I have 3 offers already and 1 is all cash. We can close in 2 weeks. I said, what the hell are you talking about? She said she listed my house because I was wasting it by living there alone before I got married. And now that my husband moved in, we should upgrade to something that reflects your new status as a married couple. She said she did me a favor by getting the ball rolling while I was busy with wedding stuff. I told her to take it down right now. She laughed and said I was being dramatic. She said the cash offer was $703,000 over asking, and her commission would be around $42,000. She said I should be thanking her for finding such good buyers so fast. I asked how she even got inside my house. She said she still had the key from when she dog sat 6 months ago. She said she hired the photographer herself and staged a few rooms to maximize appeal. She moved my furniture. She went through my stuff and rearranged it for strangers to see. I told her I never agreed to sell and she needed to cancel everything immediately. She got quiet and then said, "Well, the buyers already put down earnest money and they're expecting to close. You can't just back out now." I said I absolutely can because I never agreed to any of this. She said she told them I authorized the sale and she had power of attorney. I said, you don't have power of attorney. You have a spare key you were supposed to use for emergencies. She said it's basically the same thing, and I was being difficult. She said if I ruined this sale, she would sue me for her lost commission and the time she invested in marketing my property. Yesterday, a couple showed up at my door with their real estate agent asking to do a final walkthrough before closing. I was still in my airport clothes with my suitcase in the hallway. They looked confused and asked if I was the seller. I said, yes, I own this house, and it is not for sale. I showed them my deed and my ID. The wife started crying. She said they already gave notice at their apartment and their kids were enrolled in schools in this district. The husband got angry and said my sister promised them the house was ready to go and all paperwork was handled. Their agent was on the phone with someone, probably my sister, and I could hear yelling through the speaker. I told them I was sorry, but my sister had no authority to sell my house, and this was all a mistake. The agent said she had documentation showing power of attorney authorization. I said, "Show me." It was a Word document with my forged signature. I called the police right there, told them my sister committed fraud and forgery. The buyers and their agent left pretty quickly after that. The officer took my statement and said I should get a lawyer because this would probably turn into a civil case too. My sister has been blowing up my phone saying I humiliated her in front of clients and destroyed her reputation as an agent. She sent me a demand letter this morning from her lawyer saying I owe her $47,000 for lost commission, plus another $15,000 for emotional distress and damage to her professional standing. She's telling our whole family I'm being selfish and ungrateful after everything she's done for me. My mom called and said I should just apologize and work something out because family is more important than money. I said this isn't about money, it's about my sister trying to steal my house. My mom said, "Steal is a strong word," and I'm overreacting. The listing is still up. I've reported it 4 times and it's still showing active. My sister won't take it down and says she has other interested buyers who deserve a chance to make offers. Am I wrong for calling the cops on my own sister?
Am I the asshole for refusing to write a poem about my wife? I, 33 male, write poems for fun. I don't publish them or share them with anyone. I just have a little black notebook full of poems that I write in the morning with my coffee, which I then leave in my desk drawer. It's sort of a mindfulness practice I do instead of reading the news on my phone. Anyway, so my wife, 30 female, got curious the other day and went through my little black notebook without my permission. Maybe 100 poems, and she got angry with me because none of the poems are about her. She told me that she expected at least one of the poems to be about her and went off on this tangent about how she doesn't even know if I love her if I didn't write a poem about her, but I wrote a poem about our cat, the tree in our front yard, etc. I tried to tell her that it wasn't like that, and so she demanded that I write a love poem about her. I told her I wasn't going to write a love poem about her unless I feel inspired. I would just be pumping something out of a sense of obligation, and it wouldn't be a real love poem. Anyway, she's been sulky and quiet for a few days, and I guess I'm starting to feel guilty, and maybe I should just sit down and crap out some poem comparing her to a rose. It just feels dishonest. Am I being too precious? Am I the asshole for refusing to write a love poem for my wife? Am I the asshole for coming home late from the gym and waking my niece and refusing to compromise? I, female 23, rent a place together with my mother. Around one night a week, she has my sister's daughter, female 6, round for a sleepover, normally on a Friday or Saturday to give my sister a break. I work full-time. My only day off is a Monday. After work, I always go straight to the gym. I finish work at 9 p.m. and I'm normally home from the gym around 10:30 depending on traffic. My mother has asked me to skip the gym on Fridays and Saturdays because when I come home late, her dog barks. He always barks when someone comes through the door, and this wakes up my niece. If I notice my niece has been awoken, I always tell her it's just me so she doesn't get frightened and she goes back to sleep. I told my mother I don't think it's reasonable to ask me not to go to the gym just because she might have my niece round for a sleepover. I said to her being woken up by a dog barking on a non-school night every so often isn't a huge deal and that she's being unreasonable. Plus, it's not my fault that the dog barks, and he's not even my dog. He's hers. I don't want to give up some of my gym sessions because I'm training for an event that's occurring this year. My mother said I'm being unreasonable and unaccommodating and that I'm being selfish and uncaring. Am I the asshole for refusing to compromise?
Am I the asshole for using shampoo? So I, 15 male, have a pretty dandruff issue. To fix this, I asked my grandma to get me some dandruff shampoo, to which she told me to just use the one in the shower already, belonging to my 12 female sister. She was always the favourite or whatever, but they've gotten better. I've been using it for months now and never had an issue. Then, one fateful day, I came back from the gym after I had worked out and showered there, and the shampoo bottle was laying on the floor in my room. She walked in and looked at it, then asked me why it was there. I laugh a lot because I'm a class clown or whatever they call me at school, and told her that's what I use. She then looked at me horrified for some unknown reason, exclaimed, "What?" and proceeded to leave my room. A couple weeks later today, after her shower, she came into my room and asked me to stop using it, as she felt uncomfortable sharing with me. I said it was the only dandruff shampoo in the house and that I couldn't get another one. She then proceeded to ignore that and said she felt uncomfortable. I asked why, and she said she just did. Now I have a lot of female friends, and I almost always make sure to respect boundaries, but I just can't see a reason to be uncomfortable sharing shampoo. If I'm the problem here, just tell me, but I was only doing what my grandma told me to.
Am I the arsehole for helping my sister run away from home after my mom called me fat, a 19 female? Have a sister, 18 female. We've never had an amazing relationship, but I've always figured it'll get better as we grow older. Our mom has always been controlling and strict, but never too bad. I've always figured she just loves us very much and doesn't want anything bad to happen to us since our dad passed away when we were toddlers. Recently, my sister got a boyfriend, 19 male, whom my mum doesn't approve of for whatever reason. I don't have anything against him. He seems like a cool dude, and I'm happy for my sister. However, my mum told my sister that she has to either cut ties with him or she'll stop paying for her tuition. What she doesn't know is that the guy is loaded and offered to pay for it himself. He loves my sister that much. My sister came to me a few weeks ago with a plan to run away, move in with her boyfriend, and have him keep paying for her tuition. She wanted to leave when our mom is away for the weekend and asked me to help her with everything and drive her 2 hours to another city, since she doesn't have a car or a license. I told her no, it's evil. Our mom loves us, and if she wants to move, she should talk to my mom about it. She scoffed and said she'll just find another way. A week ago, I was in the kitchen with my mom when my sister stormed in and ignored both of us. My mom yelled for her to come back and tell her where she's been all day since she was supposed to be home hours ago. From her room, she yelled, "With the only person who loves me and cares about me in this world," and shut the door with a bang. My mom sighed and said, "Thank God I have one normal child." I laughed and joked, "You'll never know. Maybe I'll be like that too once I get a boyfriend." My mom laughed and said, "Oh, honey, we don't need to worry about that before you start hitting the gym and drop some weight." For context, I am a bit chubby, but I'm healthy and strong. And before her comment, I've never felt the need to lose weight. I looked at her in disbelief and stormed straight to my sister's room. Her eyes lit up when I offered to help her. The next day, when my mum was God knows where, we packed as much of my sister's stuff into my car as we could and left, leaving her room empty except for her bed, desk, and bookshelf. I dropped her off at her boyfriend's house, helped her unload, and drove back. When I stepped inside, my mum was waiting for me at the door. "Where the hell have you been?" she screamed. I smiled and spun the car keys on my fingers. "Dropping sister off." She turned red and ran to my sister's room, only to find it empty. She yelled at me, called me names, and told me to get out of her house. I packed a bag and drove to my grandma's. It's been a week now and I'm still here. My mum has yet to contact me. My grandma, Dad's side, loves my mum and said it wasn't wrong of me to help my sister, but I should talk to my mum. I don't want to apologise before she does, but I miss my mum and sister. I wish I hadn't interfered with their beef, but I feel like if I hadn't, my sister would have just found another way to get there. She's a grown woman after all. So am I the arsehole?